What is going on today, guys? So today I want to talk about the best loadout for the light build for ranked within the finals. Now, before I get into this video, I would just like to say that you honestly shouldn't really be using the light build, at least within ranked, in higher levels. Now, the reason for that is because the light build, at least at higher levels, I'd say from high gold and above, especially if you're in high platinum lobbies or diamond lobbies, then the light build isn't going to be that good at all unless you are an extremely gifted light player and you're extremely good at playing light and you're playing with an extremely coordinated team and you have the right team composition and you know exactly what you're doing and you are just an amazing light player, then you could definitely make the light build work for ranked. However, for most people, the light build isn't going to be that good. And I know that's confusing because especially if you're just starting out in the game and you're just a casual player or you've only been playing in the casual playlist and you haven't played ranked, or even if you just started out playing ranked and you're in the lower levels like bronze or silver or even low gold, if you are within those lower ranks and or playing casual, you'll actually notice that light seems to be really powerful. And the reason being is because within casual play, at least most of the time, and at lower ranks, at least most of the time, people don't play together. They play more divided, even though this is a team-based game and you should be playing as a team at all times. For whatever reason, a lot of new players or casual players or people who aren't as experienced and aren't playing at the highest level tend to not be as coordinated with their team and don't play with their team as much and tend to kind of stray away from their team a lot of the time. And this is very good for light players because the whole point of playing light is to isolate targets and to put the gunfight within your favor so you could win the gunfight. So picture this scenario. You're playing as a light, you come up to a team, your team starts fighting their team, and one of the players on the enemy team kind of veers off and maybe tries hitting like a flank or something. You could target that player, use your invisibility to get around him and get behind him so he can't see you get behind him, take out your stun gun, stun him, and now he has no mobility at all, he has very little movement, and you could easily gun him down and get the kill. That's what the light specializes in. They use their stealth, their movement, their speed, and their really high damaging weapons to be able to get easy picks very quickly and kind of get in and out very quickly, right? So especially within casual play or at lower levels, you'll see this a lot where you could get easy picks, you could isolate players very easily because a lot of people aren't playing together. So you could easily find a straggler or someone who's kind of off doing their own thing or whatever the case might be. You could kind of find one person, isolate him, and easily get the kill on him using your specialization, your gadget, and your weapon to your advantage. You could easily isolate him and get the kill. Now, if you compare this to higher levels within ranked, I'd say from gold 1 and above, especially in high platinum and diamond, you're not going to see that anymore. Your teams are going to be playing a lot more coordinated. They're going to play together a lot more. You're not going to see people playing by themselves as much. You're not going to see people playing away from their team or trying to push flanks or trying to do something that is away from their team. And you're just not going to find very many isolated targets within high ranks, because within high ranks, people understand that at the end of the day, this is a team-based game. So if you want to play at the highest level, then you have to play as a team. So people are playing as a team. They're playing together. They're taking gunfights together. They're playing the objective together. They are attacking together, defending together. They're doing everything together, and they are very organized, and they are communicating. They're making call outs. They are most likely, either within like a Discord together, or like a Xbox party together, or PlayStation party, or whatever. They're most likely all together communicating and very organized and put together. So this makes it very, very difficult for a light player to be able to do what a light player is supposed to do, which is to find isolated targets and gun them down. It's very difficult at high levels to be able to do this as a light player. And if you can't do your job as a light player, then it's kind of pointless to play as a light. You might as well play a more important build that gives you more of an important role and gives you a role that helps your team a lot more compared to playing as light. Now again, this isn't for every single player. This is just for the majority of players. Of course, there's going to be players at high levels who are still going to be able to use light and do absolutely fantastic with the light, and especially, if you have a good composition of like a heavy and a medium and a light, you could do a lot of damage with that, and you could play really well with that composition. But it's a lot more difficult. It's a lot more easier to do a composition of a double medium heavy or a double heavy medium. Throwing a light within your composition is going to make things a lot more difficult, and you're going to have to adjust your playstyle, not only as a player, but as a team. So I just want to put that out there before I give you suggestions on what the best stuff is for the light builds. If it were up to me and you are just starting out your ranked journey, then I wouldn't main the light build. I wouldn't even touch the light build for ranked. You could play light build and casual all you want, but for ranked, I would not touch the light build. I would either use the medium build or the heavy builds. And I have both guides for the best loadout for the medium build for ranked, as well as the best loadout for the heavy build within ranked, if you'd like to go check those videos out and get the best stuff for those and then main those. I really would not be touching light unless you are in an extremely coordinated team and you kind of know what you're doing and you can make a light work. Anyhow, now getting into the video. If you still want to play light and you're just dead set on playing light and you really just you think you are a really, really, really great light player and you just want to now step into ranked with light and you think you could dominate, but you just want to know kind of the best stuff to be using within ranked, then here's what I personally think is the best stuff and what a lot of really, really high level light players are using as the best stuff. So it's not just coming from me, it's coming from other people as well at very, very high levels. So starting things off, the best overall weapon for the light build for ranked is the XP54. Now the XP54 is honestly not only one of the best, I'd say definitely the best gun for the light builds, but also one of the best guns within the game. It is the most, at least in my opinion and many other people's opinions, it is by far the most versatile weapon. It is extremely accurate. It's easy to control. It has a high rate of fire. It has a great damage output. It quite literally checks off pretty much every box for what you want within a weapon. The reload time isn't that bad. It has a good ammo count. Like, there really isn't any downside to using this weapon whatsoever. It is just the perfect weapon, and it's perfect for the light build, as it's great at close range gunfights, it's great at medium range gunfights, and you could sometimes even make it work at long range gunfights as well. So the XP54 is just overall an amazing weapon, and I think that if you are playing as a light, especially at higher levels, then you should be using this gun. This gun is going to be your best option. It is guaranteed going to give you the most amount of kills as a light, and it's going to win you the most gunfights as a light. It is honestly one of my favorite weapons to use within this game, and I highly recommend this gun. Now, if you are someone who maybe likes to play at longer distances as a light, you don't like to play up close, you like to play a more medium to long range, then there are other options for you. The best option is going to be the LH1. The LH1 is honestly a fantastic weapon. It has great damage. It's very accurate. It's very easy to control. It has a good amount of bullets within the mag. It reloads very quickly. The only downside to it is it doesn't have any sort of sight on it. It just has iron sights. Also, you cannot spam it as fast as you want to. As you see, if I go to spam it as fast as I want to, it starts to get really shaky and hard to control. So you can kind of see it bounce a lot more, especially at longer distances. That recoil's a lot more significant and the gun starts to bounce a lot more. So you can't be spamming this weapon. You have to kind of time your shots properly, and you can't be clicking as fast as you want to. You kind of have to click at just the right speed to where it's fast enough to where you can control the gun and it's not bobbing and weaving everywhere. But you also want to be able to click it to where you could be able, fast enough to where you could kill the enemy as fast as you can. So overall, the LH1 is definitely for a player who kind of likes to play more laid back. You kind of like to be on, maybe high vantage points. Like let's say you're on a roof here and you're kind of scouting and you want to get maybe a quick little pick on an enemy. You could easily do that with the LH1 from a distance because of how much range it has. And it can even be good up close too, but really it specializes in medium to long range engagements. And if you're someone who really doesn't like to get up close and personal, then this gun is perfect for you. You just have to understand how to properly use it. Now, if you don't want to use either the XP54 or the LH1 because maybe you're a player who likes to get very, very up close and personal, you are someone who is playing hyper aggressive, you are constantly in people's faces, you are constantly getting as close as you physically can to people, then the other gun I would recommend is the M11. The M11 is honestly a great option for people who like to really get up close and personal as a light. The problem with the gun is, while it has a great rate of fire, has a great damage output, and it has a large magazine and it reloads very quickly, the damage fall off is very significant. So like from right there, I could easily kill the enemy. From right here, it gets a little bit harder, but I can kill the enemy. But from all the way over here, it's going to be very difficult to kill an enemy. It took almost 2 full mags to be able to kill that enemy from that distance. So you really have to be playing up close and personal with this gun. But if you are playing up close and personal and you are, using your specialization, whether that's your cloaking and kind of getting up, stunning, I missed my stun, but stunning them and then kind of gunning them down real close, then this gun is going to be perfect for you. While it's not the most accurate and it doesn't have the best iron sights in the world, when you're that up close to an enemy, you really don't need to have the best accuracy in the world, so long as you're on target, which if you're close to an enemy, you could, stay on target relatively easily. So it's not that big of a deal that it doesn't have any sort of scope on it. Yeah, the iron sights do kind of suck, but that's okay. it's not going to be that big of a deal when you're playing as close as you are with this gun. As for the other options for the light builds, I really wouldn't touch anything else unless you are extremely good with another option. Like, some people are extraordinary sword players. Personally, I am not. I'm terrible with the sword, but some people are very good with the sword. And if you are a player who's just absolutely destroys with swords, and you know you could be useful to your team, get a lot of picks, play the objective properly, and help to win the game all with the sword, then 100% play the sword. But not all players are going to be good with the sword. Majority of players aren't going to be best with the sword. Majority of players are going to be best with the XP54 and or the LH1 or the M11. Same with like the sniper rifle, right? The sniper rifle can be great in certain scenarios. It kind of all depends on the map you're playing on, the team you're going against, and how coordinated and organized your team is. There's definitely situations where if you are a good sniper player and you like to play at a distance, you could definitely take out the sniper and do very good with it. It's very situational. It's not going to be good all the time. You definitely cannot main this weapon. This is not a gun in which you're going to play with every single game and you're going to be using every single game. This is not a gun in which you're going to be using as your main weapon. Usually you'd be using either the LH1 or the XP54, and then when you kind of find a situation where you think the sniper is going to be good, you could bust out the sniper, use it for a match, and hopefully find success with it. But it's not going to be good in every scenario. In the cases where it is useful, it could be very good, but you have to find a situation for it to be useful. As for things like the throwing knives, they can be good, but they're just very hard to use. The dagger, I'd say I wouldn't touch it. It's honestly probably one of the worst weapons within the game. The double barrel shotgun, it's just, with the nerfs done to it, like very up close, it could still be good, but you have to be so close to the enemy and so very accurate that I honestly wouldn't use it. Once upon a time, this gun was amazing and honestly like ran the meta, but nowadays I wouldn't touch it. I really wouldn't. You have to be like pretty much like right up against the enemy for this gun to be useful, so I really wouldn't use it. The pistol, again, there's like people who could be like very good with this gun. Like, if you have an insane trigger figure and you're very accurate with it, then this gun can be very good. But for most people, I wouldn't touch it. If you are someone who uses this gun like every game and you are good with it, you know that it's just like your gun of choice and you could just absolutely dominate with this gun. You're winning the majority of your gunfights with this gun. You're playing the objective still and helping your team with this gun, then yeah, you could definitely run it. That's definitely a viable option, but for majority of people, I really wouldn't touch it. Now, as for the 93R, this gun, it really isn't that good. You won't see many people using this gun at all, because it's just really not the best gun in the game. It's on the weaker end for weapons. It's very inconsistent. I think they need to make this gun more accurate. I don't know. Something about this gun feels off. It just doesn't feel that good to use. And because of that, I wouldn't use this gun at all. It's just... It's especially in high levels of ranked, it's most likely going to let you down. Again, maybe you are just a crazy player with it, and this is like your main weapon, then okay, I could see you using it if you just absolutely like just main this weapon, you're really good with it. But for most people, I wouldn't use the 93R. Now, moving on to specializations, the best overall specialization is going to be the cloaking device. For most people, the cloaking device is going to be your best option. It allows you to get in and out of gunfights very easily. It allows you to be more stealthier as a light and kind of get around enemies a lot more to put a gunfight within your advantage. So you could like use cloaking device to get behind this enemy, stun them, and then easily get the kill on them, right? There's just so many cases where the invisibility or the cloaking device is going to be your best bet, as it's just so useful, even with the nerf stun to it, and there is rumored to be more nerfs coming to it. But I think even with the nerfs coming to it, it's still going to be an absolute S tier pick for the light build, and for most people is going to be your best option. I really wouldn't touch the other two at all as compared to the cloaking device. For most players, the cloaking device is just going to be the easiest option and the best option, and is going to give you the most amount of use out of a light player, and going to give you the best advantage as a light player. However, I will say the other two specializations can be good, especially the evasive dash. Now, if you are using evasive dash, I know I haven't gotten into gadgets yet, but if you are using evasive dash, then please pair it with the vanishing bomb. I'll get more into that later, but if you are using evasive dash, use the vanishing bomb. It's just an extremely good combo. But as for the evasive dash, I wouldn't touch the evasive dash unless you are an extremely good light player and you know exactly how to use the evasive dash, you know how to time it properly, you know how to properly utilize it, you know how to kind of use it to your advantage within gunfights, and how to use it to your advantage when either defending or attacking an objective. If you can master the evasive dash, which is going to take a very long time, as it is a very high skill level specialization, but if you are able to master it, it's going to be extremely good. In some cases, if you are very good with the evasive dash, it could be even better than cloaking device, but that's going to be a very small percentage of players. For most players, the cloaking device is going to be the best, but for the players that are able to do good with the evasive dash, you will shine with it, and you will absolutely dominate players with it. But it's just going to be a very small percentage of players, and it's going to be very rare for you to be able to utilize the evasive dash to its fullest potential. As for the grappling hook, I really wouldn't touch the grappling hook unless you are playing with the sniper. If you are playing with the sniper, then you could easily pair the grappling hook with it to get to high ground a lot quicker and to escape from places a lot quicker. It's just other than that, it's gonna be kind of useless. Like if you're pairing it with the XP54 compared to cloaking device and evasive dash, I wouldn't touch it at all. I really would only use the grappling hook if you are playing as a sniper. Just for the sole reason that the grappling hook allows you to get from high ground to high ground quicker, or get up to high ground itself quicker, or, you know, because obviously as a sniper you want to have the high ground. You want to be able to kill enemies from the highest point and furthest point away, and the grappling hook is going to be the best for that. It's going to allow you to get from the high ground to another piece of high ground quicker, or get up to that high ground quicker. But other than that, it's just I don't know, it's just not that good compared to these other two options. So really, I wouldn't be touching the grappling hook, especially if you are a sub player, like using the XP54 or the M11 or even the pistol. The grappling hook just isn't going to be that good. Now, moving on to the gadgets. If you are playing light, if you are a light player, then please use the stun gun. The stun gun is the best gadget for the light, the most useful gadget for the light, and should guaranteed be taking up your first slot for the light. The reason being is because the stun gun, its main use is it allows you to get players off of a cash out. Because at the end of the day, this is a team-based game. This is a game in which requires you to play with your team, and at the end of the day, this is a objective-based game, and that's the important one, an objective-based game where you play around an objective. So to be able to help your team and to play the objective, you're going to want to use the stun gun to, let's say there's a few seconds left on the cash out and someone goes to steal it, you could stun them and it'll instantly kick them off of the objective, which could save you the game and win you the round, or even the game itself. So the stun gun is super powerful, and being able to play the objective, but it's also super powerful in giving you an advantage in gunfights. So let's say I go to fight this guy, I could kind of get around him, stun him, use my movement as a light and my speed as a light to play around him, because you never want to stun someone and be directly in front of them, because they could still shoot you, they could still look around and will strafe without aiming and kill you. So you never want to stun someone directly in front of them and then just stand in front of them. You want to oh, I missed my stun, but you want to stun someone and then kind of get around them so that they can't hit you at all, and then you can easily get a pick on them. So the stun is so powerful in that sense, where it could help you play the objective, it could help you win gunfights, it could help you just overall do your job as a light. And I honestly would not recommend even playing light if you're not running the stun gun. As for the other two gadgets, you have a couple options. I'd say the best two at higher levels, and from gold 1 and above, especially platinum diamond, your best two options are going to be, I should say this, if you are using the cloaking device and you have whatever your main gun of choice is in stun gun, the other two best options are going to be the glitch grenade and the gateway. The reason being is because the glitch grenade, if you are playing with a coordinated team, you are able to glitch heavies. So you could glitch their mesh shield and it'll instantly put their mesh shield down, or you could glitch their dome shield and it'll instantly put their dome shield down, which gives you a small window of time to be able to do a significant amount of damage to the heavy and or kill the heavy. So the glitch grenade is super powerful. The problem is it only has a 5-second window where it keeps people glitched. So you have to be playing with a very coordinated team. You have to be calling out to them that, hey, I'm glitching, I'm throwing glitch on this heavy, get ready to apply damage to them. right? You have to be able to be communicating that as a light, and you have to be coordinated enough to be able to utilize the glitch grenade properly. As for the gateway is just super powerful in transporting the volt to the cash out a lot more quickly. So you could go 70 meters with the gateway before it cuts you off and you can't go any further. So we're at 59, 60, 69. I can stop right here and throw it. And then using the gateway, I could grab the volt and then teleport with the gateway. And let's say the cash out's here. Throw it into the cash out, right? So see how easy that was? I was able to take the volt, teleport over, throw it into the cash out, all using the gateway. So it's just so powerful in being able to move that volt a lot more quickly and giving the light more mobility and more ways to transport. I'd say the biggest use out of it is being able to move the volt to the cash out quicker, but you could also use it for cases like, let's say this wasn't here at all, this jump pad wasn't here, and I wanted to get up there. If I angle it properly, hopefully, I could get the gateway up there, and now I can get from down here to up here very easily. So the gateway can be very good for like allowing you to kind of either get the high grounds or kind of get in like a nice little sneaky position somewhere, or allow you to get to a point in which you are given an advantage within the gunfight. It could also allow you to give your team more mobility, as you could help your team to transport a lot easier from one point to another. So the gateway is just super powerful, but you have to know how to use it. You have to know how to use it properly, and you have to know how to utilize it properly. Because if you don't know how to utilize it properly, then it's going to be useless. But if you know how to use it and you kind of understand its use and what to do with it, then the gateway will just be super powerful. Now, as for the other gadgets, as I was saying earlier, if you're not running cloaking device and you are running the evasive dash, then in my opinion, you should be pairing that with the vanishing bomb. Now, you could either replace either or, the glitch grenade or the gateway. I would personally recommend, out of these two options, removing the glitch grenade, as I feel the gateway is a little bit more useful right now than the glitch grenade, but it's kind of up to you and your playstyle. But if you are using this evasive dash, then use the vanishing bomb. The reason being is because now you could easily go invisible using the vanishing bomb, and you still get the advantages of having the evasive dash. So you're pretty much getting two specializations at once. You're getting the cloaking device by using the vanishing bomb, and you're getting the evasive dash as well. You can't use them together, unfortunately, so you can't be invisible and use the evasive dash at the same time, but you could use both of them to your advantage and kind of pair one into the other. So like I could be invisible here, I'm running, all of a sudden the enemy hears, because there's a very significant sound when you're invisible. The enemy hears that I'm invisible, they turn to go shoot me. I can evasive dash out of there and either get out of that gunfight completely and or put the gunfight within my advantage and kill the enemy. So vanishing bomb is just so useful, and again, it just allows you to help you to stay hidden and play more sneakier and stealthier, which is kind of your job as a light. So the combination of evasive dash and vanishing bomb is just super powerful. And even if you were playing sniper with grappling hook, I would do the same thing, grappling hook and vanishing bomb. So pretty much if you're not running cloaking device, then run vanishing bomb. That's kind of what you should be taking out of this. As for the other gadget slot, if you don't want to run glitch grenade or gateway, there still are other options that are pretty powerful right now. One of them being the sonar grenade. The sonar grenade can allow you to apply a lot of pressure on an enemy team because it has a pretty big range, as you can see. So if you throw, let's say the cash out is, here, and there's enemies obviously guarding the cash out, you could throw the sonar grenade down, and now it's going to pin all the enemies around that cash out. And now obviously that puts a lot of pressure on them because they're like, oh no, the enemy knows my location, I gotta relocate, I gotta move. And then they kind of start scattering, and then you could easily get the kill on them because you see them, you see where they're moving to, and that gives you an advantage within the gunfight, especially if you utilize it properly and you're throwing it into buildings where the cash out is, you're throwing it onto vantage points where enemies like to stay, or onto the high ground where enemies like to be. If you're just constantly using the sonar grenade, it benefits your team greatly and it benefits you greatly. So it could just be super, super powerful in that sense. Finally, the last two gadgets I'd recommend are either the frag grenade, as the frag grenade can be very, very powerful in doing like initial damage to an enemy. So let's say you get into a gunfight, you could throw the frag grenade down, it does a chunk of damage to the enemy, and then you could easily clean them up. And or you could apply a lot of pressure to an enemy if, per se, like, let's say the cash out is on this second floor, right? And the enemies are up there guarding it. You could throw frag grenades up there and do some damage to the enemies up there. And now they're hurt. They have a lot of pressure on them because they're hurt, and you can kind of get up there and, clean them up. So frag grenade can be very, very powerful in that sense, where it could just do a lot of initial damage when getting into a gunfight, and can also clean up an enemy very easily as well. Finally, the last gadget I would recommend is the breach charge. The breach charge is very, very good at giving you destruction as a light. Yeah, it's not as much destruction as you could do with a heavy, but it's a decent amount to where it allows you to blow up holes in the wall, or most importantly, blow a hole in the ceiling, which can be used to drop a cash out onto the floor you want it on. So let's say, again, the cash out is above you and you want to blow it down to this floor. You could throw a breaching charge on the ceiling and then easily drop the cash out down to the floor you're on. So breach charges are just very, very good for allowing you to cause some destruction as a light, which obviously puts pressure onto an enemy team. So depending on your play style, depending on how you play and how you work with your team and just how you are as a light player, you can mix and match your last two gadget slots between everything I just listed. As for the other gadgets, I really wouldn't touch them. Thermal vision can be good at certain times. If you're playing an enemy light who uses cloaking device and they are very, very good with this cloaking device, then thermal vision can be good at finding the cloaked enemy. But other than that, it doesn't really have many other uses. Tracking dart is all right. I mean, it can apply a lot of pressure onto the enemy that is getting tracked, but I see in most cases that if people are using tracking dart and you kind of track a target, then your team kind of tries to isolate that target, and that puts you into a bad situation because the enemy team knows they're being tracked, so they set up in a good position and you kind of are running in there trying to get this tracked guy, and now you're placed into this bad situation and could potentially get your team wiped. So I really wouldn't use the tracking dart. Smoke grenades, I really wouldn't use them. They're not that useful. Same with pyre grenades, they're not that useful. Goo grenades can be good at times, but I really wouldn't touch them. Gas grenades are good, but compared to the other options are just better, so I wouldn't touch them. And the flashbangs just kind of suck right now, so I wouldn't really use them. But I think that is everything. So to do a quick recap for you guys, the best stuff to use, the best loadout for the light build for ranked is going to be, for your specialization, the best overall specialization for most people is going to be cloaking device. However, the evasive dash is really good. Just remember, if you're using the evasive dash, then use the vanishing bomb. The grappling hook can be good paired with the sniper. Just remember, if you're using grappling hook, use the vanishing bomb. But the best overall specialization for a light is going to be the cloaking device for at least most players. The best overall weapon for most players is going to be the XP54. However, if you like to play at a little bit longer of a distance, then the LH1 is a great option. And if you like to play very, very, very close up, then the M11 is a great option. As for everything else, I wouldn't touch unless you are just exceptionally good with one of these options. For gadgets, if you are playing light, then use the stun gun. 100% use the stun gun. The stun gun is the best gadget for the light and is the most useful gadget for the light. So run the stun gun, use it. It's phenomenal and it's going to be the difference from you winning or losing games. As for the other two gadgets, they are kind of up to you and your play style and what you're running for specialization. But I'd say the best two other gadgets, if you have this loadout right here, is going to be the glitch grenade and the gateway. At least at higher levels, these are going to be the two best gadgets. However, like I said, if you are someone who doesn't really like to use these two, or maybe you don't utilize them to the best, you could also use the sonar grenade, the frag grenade, or the breach charge. And again, if you're running these two specializations, then pair it with the vanishing bomb. But yeah, I think that is everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys found something useful and you guys were able to kind of now understand how a light is used and how to play as a light and what to use for the light. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, then please give the video a like, and if you guys want more content like this, then please subscribe to the channel. But that's going to be it for me, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And yeah, guys, have a good one.